Hi, gorgeous. This is Shannon, your favorite makeup artist. Well, I hope I'm your favorite makeup artist. And today, in the professional series, coming to you from the pretty department, we are going to talk about working with a producer. Okay, but before we work with a producer, hey, do you know I talked about that in my fancy book called Makeup is Just Colored Dirt? Everywhere where books are sold. I know people still read books. I know it's a idea and a concept that is never going to go away. And I wrote one. So makeup is just colored dirt. And if you haven't followed me on social media, you should. It's now the pretty department. I used to be Makeup Thompson, but now I'm the pretty department. If you already follow me, nothing has changed. If you haven't followed me, welcome. Follow me. You'll learn all kinds of stuff. All right? So now that we got all that out of the way, let's talk about working with a producer. You're a makeup artist, right? So you're one of the rare people that get to work with a producer. Also, majority of the time, you're hired by the producer. People ask me all the time, especially actors that are new in this industry, do you get hired through a casting agency or how do you get hired? 99.9% of the time, depending on what level of makeup artist you're at, you're hired directly from the producer, okay? The producer is the person that's paying the money for the film. Majority of the time, you might get hired by a line producer, okay? A line producer is still a producer. So you either get a phone call or email or text message, depending on how they reach out to you and say, hey, are you available for this particular project? If you are available for this particular project and it is a film or something that has a script attached to it, then they will send you that script so that you can read it and have your ideas and conversation about it. They're also going to talk to you about the money and the rate and anything else that you need to be negotiated at that time period, all right? Sometimes the producer is also the director. So if the producer is the director, then the producer is putting money into the film and also directing the film. That doesn't mean that you're gonna have a different conversation with them because they are the director and the producer, because you're gonna have a different type of conversation even though it's the same person. You're still gonna talk about the script, you're still gonna talk about the money, you're still gonna talk about all the arrangements and make sure that things are where they need to be at for it to be able to work. But you're also gonna probably be working hand in hand with that producer director. So you're gonna wear multiple hats if the producer is also the director. Now, the producer has an amount of money that they allot for the makeup department, okay? So there's not an endless amount of money, even though it may feel like it's an endless amount of money on some productions because it's a big budget. There is a budget. Sometimes they tell you that budget and sometimes they don't tell you that budget. So do not have an extravagant amount of makeup that you think that you need to buy or supplies that you need to buy, and then they cut back on it because their budget doesn't allot for that. Be reasonable when you're going over your budget. Be reasonable and also honest with the producer about why you need specific things, because you've read that script. There's a reason why you need the specific things. If there's an actor that has like an acne problem or needs specific products that may be a little bit more pricey, you want to explain that to the producer so therefore they're aware of, this is why I'm asking for this particular product or this particular brand, or I need these particular items for the film or for the project because XYZ, and you have a script to explain it or you have reasons to explain it. If there's no explanation for it, producers just think that, you're putting stuff in the air and there's no rhyme and reason behind it. There needs to be a rhyme and reason behind it. And also track and keep a list of all those things so you can go back to it. You have to keep all the receipts because they want to know legitimate receipts, because they want to know what you spent and why you spent it and what it was used for, so forth and so on. All right, so working with a producer, you're hired by the producer, and unfortunately sometimes you're fired by the producer too, or let go by the producer. So they're a super important person. Sometimes the producer is also the director, so you're going to play two hats with them even though it's the same person, and that person is in charge of the budget. So even if they're the line producer or executive producer, because there are multiple producers on the films, they're all adding money to the film. They've added their own money or other monies through the film if they have a production company. They are the money person. So you want to be as transparent as you can be, as honest as you can be, and also as respectful as you can be, because you want them to build a relationship so that you can work on several of their projects over and over again. I love producers. I do. I really, really do. And you will too once you start working in this film industry and continue working in this film industry.